Hi everybody, it's Mr. Gray here. Thank you again for another great week of school. I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving break. I sent out some information this week on an email. So there were two big things. The first one is that on the final day of school before winter break, Friday, December 20th, we're hoping to watch the movie A Wrinkle in Time, because I'm reading that out loud to our kids right now. So it's a nice way to end the break. And also we're having a pizza party that day. So there's a permission slip involved with the movie because it's PG rated. So you just sign it. There's a link on the email and on the updates page. And so if you can do that as soon as you can, that would be great. If you have any dietary restrictions, please let me know. If cheese or pepperoni pizza will not work for you, we're happy to find something else so everyone has something to eat that day. And then lastly, I know that people might be gone in the last 1 or 2 days before winter break. Just have your student tell me, or you can send me an email, just so, because I'm planning a few things for that last week of school. So I want to know if you're not going to be here. That would be great. The second thing I sent to you on the email was a writing celebration. I passed out a little flyer. Hopefully your student brought that to you. It's an argument architects assembly. The kids right now are working on lots of arguments in different forms. They're writing a speech that's an argument. They are writing a paper that's an argument, and they are working on debates in reading. So all of that together are ways to practice forming an argument, providing evidence for an argument, and supporting it in different ways, writing, in a speech, on a team, on a debate. And so we're going to celebrate that on Wednesday, December 18th from 1:10 to 1:40 in the MPR. So school gets out at 1:40 that day, and so the kids will be able to just kind of leave and go right with you if you're available that day for the Argument Architects Assembly. And so the kids will have a little display area, and they will be arguing in favor of a topic of their choosing that they're passionate about and want to convince you that their way is the way. And so please come join us for that if you can. And there's more information. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. But other than that, hopefully we'll see you there at that time. I put a link to a Science Olympiad interest form, and also there's a link. A few weeks ago we had our board game day, and the kids, I took pictures of all the kids' board games, and it was a really fun day. So you can see the link there of their actual board games if you haven't seen that. In reading, like I said, the kids will be working on their debate. They're in a team with 4, and then in one case 5 students, and so they'll be working together to put to gather information and evidence. Next week we'll talk about how the teams will earn points in the debate. The rest of the students in the class will be the audience, and they will be able to score the debate to see who won, and there'll be certain criteria for that. So the kids are collecting evidence, working with their group, preparing their debate, their outline, preparing their arguments, thinking about counterclaims, and all that's happening next week leading up to our debates, which will be the last week before winter break. I'll continue reading out loud A Wrinkle in Time so we can finish that up in order to watch the movie. In writing, the kids are working on their second opinion or argument that has some research in it. Next week, the kids are going to actually draft their writing and continue kind of researching and organizing. We're also going to talk about review the leads they can do at the start of their writing, and review the leads they did on their chocolate milk essay, which was their first opinion writing. We'll talk about counterclaims and how to include those, how to include micro stories as part of evidence, and we'll also make sure the kids get experience using footnotes in Google Docs to cite their research. In math, we'll keep working on fractions. We're working on division of fractions, both the algorithm of it, word problems, and then also finally the visual display of dividing fractions, which is something that pops up both next year and on the end of year 6th grade test. You have to kind of visually show what's happening when fractions are divided, and that often is something students run into a little trouble with both in 5th and 6th grade, and we'll use mixed numbers as well. And in social studies, we're talking about the early colonies. We're leading right up to the 1700s and the middle 1700s, right before the revolution begins and the frustration that the colonies had with England begins. And so next week we're focusing on kind of the religious aspects of the early colonies, particularly in a time period called the First Great Awakening. And also we'll prepare for a town meeting simulation. So town meetings were a really early form of representative democracy in the colonies. And we're going to have our own little class town meeting. And so we're going to prepare for that. In science lab, the kids are studying about Yellowstone. and they're going to look at some of the relationships between water, air, sunlight, matter, nutrients, and they're going to look at that as they're gathering information from multiple sources, and then they're going to complete a graphic organizer about that. The kids are working on Wordly-Wise. They had a test this week. We'll add some more words in the next couple of weeks. We'll have buddies. They're going to do their second chit-chat. Some of them will start their second chit-chat. And then we will either do mile run practice or a little bit of kickball. We have a big kickball game that we're continuing about every week in class. So that's all this. It's very busy the last couple of weeks of school. We have a lot we're trying to get done. I really appreciate the students coming to school ready to get things done. The very last thing I want to tell you, we had a visitor in class on Wednesday, December 4th. The director of nutrition services and one other person who works at nutrition services came to our class. I chatted with them about how we wrote essays about chocolate milk, and they really came and they took a long time to answer the students' questions and frustrations about the food that they might have at the school district. But it was great to get their perspective on how big the issue of getting food to students is. Like how many steps are involved, how many rules, how many laws, how many people, how much money is involved. And so it was a really informative day, and our students did a really great job of being respectful and asking really great questions, while also trying to improve the situation that they think is not as good as it can be. So I really appreciate Jill Hartstein and Megan Norton coming from IUSD, and I also appreciate your kids for how they dealt with that and handled it, and they did a really fantastic job. So that's all I have for you. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.